Right, before we get too excited, a little disclaimer. I have never actually deadlifted 700 pounds, but wait there, relax. Before you press the dislike button, hear me out. I'm planning to hit a 700 pound deadlift when I test my maxes in about 3 or 4 weeks time. And so I thought it would be cool to do a little series documenting my journey to that point. I could share my progress and little kind of tips and advice, things that have helped me along the way. But seeing as your mouse is kind of hovering around the like, dislike button area, you might as well press the like button. Okay, so like I said, this is going to be like a new series, hopefully a bit of a mini series, because I'm planning to hit it, like I said, in about maybe 4 weeks time. If I don't hit it, of course, it's going to be probably the most awkward video series ever made, so I am kind of putting myself out there. It is a bit of a risk, but what are you going to do? So like I said, I'm planning to kind of come at this from 2 angles. Firstly, I will show you my deadlift progress, like a bit of a kind of a highlights reel from the week, and then I will talk about a topic, maybe a different kind of technical based topic each week, and discuss kind of form, that kind of stuff, things that have helped me, things that I'm currently using, and things that you can obviously apply to your deadlift to help you guys out. So without further ado, I will show you my deadlift highlights from the week just gone. So what you saw there was my first and my last deadlift session from the week. I actually deadlift 3 times a week at the moment, but I didn't film the middle session only because this was a last minute decision to make this series, and so I didn't think it was necessary to film it. But it was a crap session, so you haven't really missed much. Right, the first session was a 5 sets of 4 session, with the last set being an AMRAP set, and it felt pretty good. The last session was a standard 4 sets of 6 session, just a bit of volume work, and it felt okay. I mean, deadlifts right now are feeling good. I'm feeling confident. They don't feel amazing during the course of the cycle, but I am resigned to that fact. Basically, the way my setup is kind of programmed, I always deadlift immediately after squatting, and therefore I always feel a bit sore and a bit kind of slow and unresponsive. But because I'm kind of experienced doing this, I am aware of the fact that it's going to feel crap during the cycle. When it comes to test time and I'm deloaded and I'm fresh and I'm not deadlifting straight after squatting, it's going to feel awesome. That's exactly what happened the last time I tested. If you watch my deadlift PR, the most recent one, I hit 310 kilos, 680 something pounds, and it felt ridiculously easy. It felt like it was nothing on the bar, you know. And literally 10 days prior to that, I was grinding out reps with like low 500 pound deadlift. So it shows it makes a massive difference. And now I'm aware of that fact. I'm happy to feel kind of not amazing during the course of the cycle, knowing that when it comes to the end, like I said, I am going to feel awesome. Anyway, today's topic, I want to talk about staying tight at the bottom of the deadlift, also known as pulling the slack out of the bar. This is something that has helped me enormously over the course of the last 8 months. My deadlift has absolutely flown as a result of doing this, so I thought it would be cool, if you guys don't do it already, to have a go doing it. So, what I mean by staying tight at the bottom is that when you set up, everything is tight. Your arms are locked out. You're literally pulling on the bar. The weight is about to leave the floor before you start pulling it. I like to think of it as like a loaded gun or like a slingshot. If you have a slingshot, you pull it back, you hold it really tight, then you let go. You know, it makes a big difference. Rather than putting it back and letting go immediately, you hold it with the tension, then you go. It should be exactly the same. You should feel like the weight is about to come up before you start pulling it. Now, it's very, very common. You see it in almost every single person who is new to deadlifting in the gym. I did it myself. they don't stay tight, and as a result their hips shoot up. So what happens there is that you might feel strong off the floor because you're in quite an advantageous position at the bottom because your hips are up, so you're strong, the weight comes up quickly, but then about halfway up you get stuck because what's happened is because your hips have risen, the bar's pulled you forwards, the weight is right in front of you, and you can't go any further. And you see people like hitching the crap out of the bar trying to get it up because they're in such a horrible position, and that is as a result of not being tight at the bottom. Another huge benefit of staying tight at the bottom is that you engage your hamstrings. If you get tight and you really get, you know, big kind of core brace and everything's kind of locked and tense, you'll feel your hamstrings contracting. Now your hamstrings are huge, strong muscles. A lot of people deadlift without really using them, you know. It'll be like doing a bench press and not using your chest, or doing an arm curl and not using your biceps. It is kind of insane. So if you get tight at the bottom, you can really engage your hamstrings. As a result of that, your hamstrings will get bigger and stronger, and therefore you get a bigger deadlift. And I've noticed that massively over the last few months particularly. I'm really aware of my hamstrings being sore during the course of a session. They've got a lot stronger, and I'm now deadlifting a lot more. So definitely something you want to do. And finally, if you stay tight at the bottom, it reduces the risk of getting injured hugely. Doing deadlifts incorrectly, not staying tight at the bottom, is one of the biggest causes of people getting injured whilst doing deadlifts, because their hips shoot up, they get pulled forwards like I said, and then their lumbar spine is rounding in this horrible like scared cat position, and you are just asking to damage your lower back. So by staying tight at the bottom, getting a big kind of brace and engaging your hamstrings, your back stays a lot more neutral, particularly with a sumo deadlift, and the risk of getting injured is you know, literally goes from a pretty high risk to a very, very minimal risk. So like I said, if you don't try it already, haven't tried it before, definitely give it a go. It helps me enormously, and that, my friends, is that. I'll continue to make this series. I'll show you my progress as I get towards the end of the cycle when I'm going to go for my test, and I will continue to give you kind of little tips as the weeks go by. Any suggestions, by the way, things you want to know about deadlifts, things that I do myself, then obviously let me know, and I will see you next week.